while all of my friends were engaged in the normal college pastimes, you know, orgies, binge drinking, girls gone wild tryouts, I was busy getting dumped by my boyfriend. Excuse me, ex-boyfriend. See, now being the classy guy he is, he decided to update his Facebook relationship status before updating me. Now, this isn't my first failed relationship, unfortunately, but it is the first one where he lives down the hall from me, making avoiding him more awkward than Michael Phelps on land. Anyways, we've now entered that weird period where all our friends seem to fall victim to a bizarre custody battle, choosing sides and allegiances. But I'm not here to bore you with my sad, depressing life. I'm here to bore you with other people's sad, depressing lives. See, most of us will be in at least one failed relationship during our college years. Okay, maybe not most of us, this is a forensics crowd, but you get the point. At least some of us will find love, only to have it ripped away before our very eyes. Relationships are tough to get over, and for many young adults it can seem like the world is collapsing. And in a time where suicide is one of the leading causes of death for young adults, and antidepressants are being tossed out like Mardi Gras beads, woo! Prozac! These strained emotions on college campuses need to be a cause for concern. So today, let's get on our breakup sweatpants as we crack out a carton of Rocky Road ice cream to drown our sorrows in some of the problems, causes, and solutions to the ever-feared college breakup. So what are some of the problems associated with this? My problem was the fact that he enjoyed wearing my underwear more than I did, but I digress. See, there are two main problems, psychological and an increase in drug and alcohol abuse. So first, let's take a look at the psychological problem, since it's where I began and my psychiatrist says I need to talk about these things and wear that topical ointment. Thanks, Brad. See, according to the Penrod website, last referenced October 24th, 2008, in college, breakups can be particularly difficult. There's already enough stress incurred from the intense workload and from the new experience of living away from home. But when you wrap yourself up in a relationship only to have it collapse, it's easy to feel guilty and to feel like a failure. Similar to the way President Bush feels now that his term has come to an end and Dick Cheney was forced to return to his lair. Oh, Dick, why'd you leave me? I feel like you shot me in the face and my heart. Sometimes these feelings of guilt and failure can even lead to a dangerous stress and depression cycle. Although I did know a guy that owned a stress and depression unicycle. He used to ride it while juggling his emotions. But seriously, suicide among young adults is at a 15-year high with an 8% increase, according to MSNBC.com, last referenced January 19th, 2009. And while there are many reasons for this increase, relationship problems continue to be a leading cause. And sometimes the stress from a failed relationship can be so intense that some have even compared it to the death of a loved one or the diagnosis of a life-threatening illness, according to the Villanova Counseling Center website, last referenced November 9, 2008. So it's much better to have a life-threatening illness and a boyfriend than to have someone dump you. But if you've been dumped and you have a life-threatening illness, well then sucks to be you. Which can lead me to my second point, an increase in drug and alcohol abuse. Now, admittedly, many college relationships begin due to alcohol. And I'm not even counting the relationships where you wake up half naked with a stranger in your college's water dome or your opposing team's van. You look like you know what that feels like. See, according to the Partnership for Drug-Free America, posted on the Toledo Journal Online on March 15, 2008, the #1 reason college students use drugs is stress, such as the stress incurred from a breakup. #2 reasons, to make ramen noodles even more totally delicious. Now, the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse website, last referenced October 9, 2008, states that 49% of all college students abuse alcohol, illegal, and prescription drugs, which was the best party ever. Well, okay, so I don't remember the whole thing, but the pictures on Facebook look pretty cool. But seriously, people who are depressed are more likely to turn to drugs and alcohol. Unfortunately, the use of drugs and alcohol increase the risk of suicide even more by deepening depression and negatively affecting your ability to make decisions under stress, according to mentalhealthmatters.com, last reference November 19, 2008. And we all know what happens when we try to make decisions under the influence of drugs, stress, and alcohol. Well, unless you're Amy Winehouse, then you just get a record deal. They tried to make me go to rehab. I said, no, seriously, go. You're disgusting. Moving on. Now, there are several causes that make the college breakup more stressful than finding out your birth control pills are really Tic Tacs. Must have been why they were so minty. See, many of us struggle with the self-fulfilling prophecy of overly dramatic breakups and the close quarters of a college campus, both making it tough to move on. So first, let's explore this self-fulfilling prophecy phenomenon. According to eMedicineHealth.com, last referenced October 24, 2008, it may be natural to overpredict distress at the time of a breakup. Because when you're making these predictions, you're thinking about all of the awful things about not being in a relationship. People believe breakups are going to be much worse than they actually are. So in the long run, they're making it harder on themselves. Long and hard. Oh God, I'm lonely. Okay. So the close quarters of a college campus can also make it tough to move on. See, many of us need space during the mourning period after a relationship ends. But when your old significant other lives down the hall from you, is in your third period class, and washes their underwear in the same place as you, it can be kind of tough to move on. See, L.A. Baxter, an interpersonal researcher with a great name for a private detective, conducted a study entitled Trajectories of Relationship Disengagement, and found that couples use one of 6 strategies when terminating a relationship. Unfortunately, the close quarters of a college campus knock out all but one option and force a protracted negotiation rather than a rapid close. So basically, it's like going out to eat for dinner, getting food poisoning, and then having to eat the leftovers for weeks. Or by that token, it's like your average college cafeteria. You'd like to move on, but you still have some swipes left. Luckily for us, we can move on to solutions. Now, while there is no one right way to recover from a failed relationship, there are definitely some wrong ways. Okay, shaving your head and running around without your underpants on is not an American Psychological Association approved method. A method that is approved, however, to seek counseling. According to www.collegian.com, last referenced October 24, 2008, the #1 reason students seek counseling services on college campuses are breakups. #2 reason, gonorrhea. Or at least that's what my roommate told me, but she's kind of a whore. But seriously, most colleges have counseling services for students for these reasons. But if you don't feel comfortable talking to a stranger, seek out friends or family members that weren't directly connected with the relationship. A good conversation can be a healthy emotional release, almost as good as masturbating like a wild dolphin. Okay? No? That's embarrassing. Okay, so just realize that you don't have to lose connections with friends you both share. But don't place yourself into awkward situations, like Steve Irwin. Still too soon? Okay, so just avoid parties or other areas where alcohol and drugs can elevate levels of stress and emotion. Or do things to keep yourself busy and entertained, like reconnect with friends you may have drifted from during the relationship, or go to the gym, or find a reason to volunteer for. See me? I work at the Center for Chris Brown's Battered Women, where everyone gets a free umbrella, Ella, A, and a blackout. So just give yourself time to move on, and avoid temptation to fall back into old routines. As one anonymous author wrote, relationships are like glass. Sometimes it's better to leave them broken than to hurt yourself trying to put them back together. Remember, it's okay to be alone and a little sad for a while than together and miserable. Unless you can be together, miserable, and filthy rich! That doesn't even work. So just give yourself time and avoid falling back, because leftovers are rarely as good. So today, we've consoled each other through some of the problems, causes, and solutions to the college breakup. Now, hopefully none of you will have to experience this, and I mean because your relationships will work out, not because you won't ever have one. As for me, mine did go from Paradise Island to The Biggest Loser, but luckily for me, I can change the channel. Now, I've had to block a few incoming calls, change some Facebook friends, avoid some campus hangouts, but on the plus side, I don't have to pretend I like watching professional wrestling anymore. I only have to do my own laundry now, and finally, shaving can be a bi-monthly event. So life's getting better. As Oprah Winfrey once said, don't settle for a relationship that won't let you be yourself. And she should know. She's been stringing that poor bastard Stedman along for years.